Good morning. This is Anna Imagination with a Healing Garden. This is meditation for beginners. Go ahead and take a deep breath and let's get started. And I want to apologize for my inconsistent absence this last few days because my son just moved in and it's been a lot of unpacking with all of my stuff arriving in Brooklyn. And this is the first day where things have really started to settle down and I feel rested finally. So breathe in and exhale. And breathe in. And exhale. And in. And exhale. Just free form. Relax your shoulders. Relax your spine. Open yourself up to receive, accept. Focus on gratitude and generosity. Think on what you are grateful for. Think on how you enjoy giving. One day soon, I will have the facility of just a beautiful little peaceful sound room where I meditate in silence. And I will have phenomenal speakers so you can hear everything I'm saying with warmth and ease. Inhale and exhale. Scan your body for any presence, anything that feels uncomfortable, any shadows, any knots of discomfort or pain or worry in your chest. Emotions are logical. They are messages from your subconscious mind, cluing you in as to what you need to focus on to resolve. Most people lack the information and the knowledge to properly manage and understand emotions. Emotions are the love language of the subconscious mind. We do not want to reject emotions. We want to lovingly receive them and use them as tools to manage and maintain our mental health. When we do not do this, when we ignore and or suppress emotions, mental illnesses develop. We do not want that. Mental illnesses are far worse than feeling the emotions. And those are your only two options. Accept, love, nurture, maintain, feel the emotion, or mental illness. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Okay, we're going to do some boxed breathing. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Exhale. Open up your subconscious mind. Allow yourself to focus on whatever it is your subconscious mind wants to carry you. The subconscious mind wanders. It's what it does. Do not try and pull it back or force it. Release control on the subconscious mind. Trying to control a subconscious mind is a disaster. Don't do it. Instead, watch and observe the subconscious mind. Become aware of it. Tune into your identity. Focus on your desires, what you want, what your goals are, what your passions are, what your dreams are. That's your identity. And your intuition is that beautiful gut or heart feeling you have that tells you when and what to do. The only thing that guides your intuition is your identity and your ethics. But if you don't know what your identity and your ethics are, your intuition is going to be shut down and non-functioning. Inhale and exhale. When I began meditation for beginners, it was an ill-defined dream of mine. I wanted to do meditation every day. I wanted to lead meditation. And I definitely wanted to focus on healing. And I wanted to focus specifically on troubleshooting meditation for those who jump into meditation and then they struggle saying, I don't know how to do this. This is where basically it's a massive troubleshooting for meditation. For those who want to get into it but can't, maybe you have ADHD or ADD, and every time you sit down, you fidget. ADD and ADHD is absolutely a sub-branch to PTSD. If you have ADD, ADHD, you probably have PTSD. ADD and ADHD is not something you are born with. It is something that develops over trauma. It is 100% developed because when you were in your formative years, you were abused or neglected or punished by somebody who made one message very clear to you. You need to shrink. You need to shrink is an abusive concept that is conveyed subconsciously from abuser to the person who receives the abuse. That exchange causes the person who receives the abuse to make themselves invisible by shrinking. Now, our energy focuses on three statuses. It's either expanding out, it's magnetizing coming in, or it's standing neutral. The only time it stands neutral is when you have a balance of positive and negative emotions pulling properly against each other. It's really cool. It's really cool. That is when you produce neutral energy. But most of us do not know this about emotions. They are not aware that emotions have a positive and a negative charge. So if you feel a lot of imbalance in your emotions, you are dumping either heavily positive or most likely heavily negative emotions. And as a result, you have an upside of optimism or downside of pessimism. Specifically, pessimism or a surplus of negative charge from emotions is called upstream emotions because you're going against the current. The current is referencing the frequency from the energy pool. Physicists refer to this as the energy field. I like energy pool because I watched an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine with Odo going into the changeling pool, and I went, that's the energy pool. And it is. Now, what ends up happening is when we start tuning into our emotions, we start to become aware of this positive and negative charge. But the positive and negative charge, or the neutral charge, is there whether you are aware of it or not. By becoming aware of it, as you are listening to this particular video, you change your awareness to it. You become more sensitive to it through conscious awareness. Now, this is the beautiful part. What ends up happening is when you are abused as a child, you, to make yourself invisible, subconsciously shrink and pull all of your energy. And by shrinking yourself, you're actually closing yourself off to acceptance. You are taking all of your energy and you are compacting it down into a tight ball to make yourself invisible. And what ends up happening is you now have this condensed ball of energy, and that causes you to shake, causes you to just walk around because you are closed off. You're not cycling through your energy. And this is my favorite part. You are now completely focused on energy, and you don't have any outlet to put that energy because you're trying to shield yourself from the abuser. What ends up happening is ADD, ADHD ends up evolving. That's why you shake. That's why you have a surplus of energy. That's why you can't focus. That's why you constantly have to move. That's ADHD. That is absolutely 100%. So it's ADD, and then ADHD is when you're like really moving around and hyper. It's because you've condensed it even more so. You had zero, if any at all, energy output to release that excess energy. Usually when this happens, it opens your third eye because now you have so much condensed internal stored energy. For those of you who watch anime, Naruto, it's what Sakura does with her third eye being condensed. That's what she does. She's condensing. Technically, the character should have had ADHD. Instead, Naruto had ADHD, which makes sense because he had a surplus of chakra. So for those of you who watch Naruto anime, this is going to be like, oh, this is awesome because it's very much condensing that chakra down. So when you sit down to meditate, you want to pull a third source to siphon that excess energy. This is where playing with a fidget spinner, playing with something in your fingers is going to draw that excess energy, which will allow you to calm, settle, and meditate. So anytime you feel a surplus of energy in your ADD, ADHD, or even if you think you are, you don't need a diagnosis. If you have I have a whole soapbox on diagnosis and mental health, and I'm not going to get into that here. I'm going to shelve that soapbox and focus. If you feel you have ADD and ADHD, then assume you do. Absolutely. You do not need a diagnosis. The Mayo Clinic says it's self-diagnosable. Now, that being said, let me just check that fact. If you feel this surplus of energy, what you do is basically get something in your hands. That way you can focus it, siphon, and redirect that excess energy. That being said, when it slows down and you're able to siphon it, you're able to focus, which allows you to clear up any meditation. Let me confirm that on the Mayo Clinic. I need to make sure I remembered it correctly. I'm on the Mayo Clinic now. I hate citing fact without actually confirming. And if I'm not 100% certain, I like to just double check my facts. Is it self-diagnosable according to the Mayo Clinic? That is what I want to know. And that is what I'm looking for. No single test can confirm diagnosis. Okay, scratch that. It's not self-diagnosable, but that does not negate my soapbox that I'm not getting into right now. So we're going to put that off to the side. So if you have that siphon, if you have that need to siphon that energy, do so. Absolutely, 100%. Get something in your hands. There is nothing that says you can't fidget while you're meditating, especially at first. Now, if it's your aspiration to get to that point, fantastic. We'll get you there. We'll work on it. Absolutely. It's going to take discipline, but don't expect to have that discipline right off the bat, especially if you struggle with ADD, ADHD. So get a fidget spinner, knit even, have something in your hands preoccupied. It's okay. Meditate, get into that habit while you fidget. That's okay. And then we can focus on tapering you off if you want to. But once you siphon that excess energy with your ADD, ADHD, it's phenomenal. So one more deep breath and exhale. Going to do a couple more again. And after this, I am going to be doing ASMR and positive affirmations, which tie into my manifestation courses. Inhale. And exhale. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel. I have a lot going on. Take a look at news and announcement. It covers everything as far as keeping you up to date with what's going on. And also I have a newsletter. I strongly recommend you subscribe to that. I have a lot of different outlets in the Healing Garden. So if you really want to encompass them all and figure out what everything I do, the best place to go would be my newsletter and or my honnesthealinggarden.org lays out everything in a catalog as to everything I do. Also my Facebook page. All of those links are available down below. I also have programs, masterclasses available. A lot of different things happening. I cannot possibly cover them all at the end of a video every time I post. There's too much going on. So absolutely subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my news and announcements. Take a look there and my website, honnesthealinggarden.org. Thank you so much for joining me. And may the kindest of words always find you.